All right, so while I'm recording this, it is still June 5th in Korea, just for another hour, and it is pretty early morning, June 5th, here where I'm at on the East Coast. But we have our update from the courts as the second hearing took place between NJZ, aka NewJeans, and ADOR, and I'm going to cover that right now. So first of all, the members did not have to be there. This is actually the old photo from the first of the injunction cases, where they did show up. Just the legal representatives for both sides had to be there. And they did show up, of course, NJZ's side and ADOR's side, and they filed their evidence and then immediately proceeded. So I mentioned the members didn't have to be there, weren't there, but Team Bunny showed up, and I just want to emphasize that because I'm sure the members appreciated all their support going into this tough fight. So ADOR argued that NJZ's claims of why they were terminating the contract kept changing, and that they were essentially looking for a reason after their decision. While NJZ's team countered that ADOR had actually failed in their management duty and to protect the group and to manage their activities properly, raising doubts about their ability to manage the group effectively, especially post-Manheejin. They argue that the takeover of ADOR by HYBE executives fundamentally changed the agency, making it impossible to continue working with the current leadership. And saying that is simply providing a list of producers who could replace Manheejin is not what they consider management. And that's, if you met with someone, supposedly they met with a producer, then you need to explain what was discussed and what was decided, because that was not shared with the members. And ADOR promised to respond to that with a written response in the next week. NJZ's team also claimed that HYBE had engaged in media manipulation, or media play as it's casually known, to damage the group's image, but the court rejected this argument, stating that it considered such claims to be emotionally charged and outside the scope of the case. Now, another key point of contention was even just some of the files that they were wanting to include. Specifically, ADOR had requested access to records that were involved in the damages lawsuit from Source Music against Manheejin, and NJZ's legal team objected to that, saying that some of the evidence had been illegally obtained, saying, quote, "The information was downloaded arbitrarily from a server during a legal audit, which may violate the Information and Communications Network Act. We have requested that the court not accept this evidence, and the Western District Court has indicated that it will review whether the evidence was unlawfully obtained." Now, ADOR countered, claiming that the audit was legitimate and that the files were not illegally obtained, saying, quote, "The audit was conducted properly, and the computer files belong to the company. The provider consented to the release of the files. They cannot be considered illegally collected." Just editorializing here, but we know there was that one instance where there was a staff member from ADOR who was supportive of NJZ and who was kind of pressured into turning over a laptop, and they felt coerced, and that could be where this came from. There was a lot that was a part of that audit, so that's just a presumption. And just to reiterate, NJZ's legal team argued that ADOR's failure to meet management obligations, especially after the leadership change, justified the termination of the contract. They cited specific examples of mismanagement, saying that the agency did not adequately fulfill its protective duties. Now, the next court hearing has already been scheduled, and that is for July 24th. That is where they will continue reviewing arguments from both sides. And it's unclear how the situation will unfold. There was a high-stakes moment where the judge kind of asked NJZ's team whether they still didn't want to settle, seemed regretful, and NJZ's team basically said, "We've already crossed that bridge, and we'll revisit it with our clients, but trust has been irrevocably broken, and a settlement seems unlikely." While ADOR maintained, saying that a court ruling would make a settlement easier. So it feels we're back in a holding pattern as we go towards another court date, but I'll keep you posted and updated as we learn more. and hopefully this doesn't keep getting drawn out, because I know the members would love to get back to just doing what they love, performing, entertaining everybody, making great music. And I hope they get to do that someday very soon.